Volume profile. How do we use it? What is it? Why does it work? I'm going to be talking about all of those things, and I'm going to share how I use it to generate profitable trades for the most part. Keyword for the most part. Still not profitable, guys. Everything that I say is from my experience, and of course, trading comes with substantial risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. But, however, volume profile is a very, very effective tool that every trader should understand and have in their toolkit. And today I'm going to show you why it works and how I use it to either scalp or position trade. And a lot of you may be looking at this like, what is going on? But it's very simple, you guys. It's very simple. It's all about keeping track of where liquidity is and where the volume is, where the big volume is, because big volume, big traders, banks, people that actually push the market, they leave behind little trails, and it's up to you to find those trails. And what volume profile does, and if this is a volume profile on the left here, what it does is it shows you where those footprints are, that the scent that they leave behind, these large traders, and it shows you exactly where their positioning is. It shows you where there's a lot of positioning from these large traders in the market. So, with that being said, I'm just going to run through a little example of how the market works on a very basic, fundamental, technical perspective. Alright, so you have liquidity, and liquidity is going to be resting buy orders or resting sell orders or bid and offer. That is what liquidity is. It's going to be orders on the book that are waiting to be filled. And what happens is, in a market, you have a period of imbalance where price just goes up and it's very one directional. And that's when you see trends and very tall extended moves until it finds an area of liquidity, and it's going to chop around in that liquidity until it eventually breaks out and creates another one of those imbalanced moves. And that is what the market does every single day. And the market is in its most healthy and happiest state when it's in these areas of balance, because it's doing a good job of facilitating trade between buyers and sellers. We could also say that balance is synonymous, or it means the same thing as fair value. So where that balance is where the market is currently finding value. And once we have these imbalanced moves, that means that price is not in a state of fair value, and it's in price discovery. It's discovering that new area of liquidity. And so what's going to happen is you're going to find another area of liquidity, and these are going to be your volume profiles, where the profiles get very bulky and have that curve to it, that bell curve. And then it's just going to facilitate trade again between buyers and sellers until it has that imbalance break, and this is what creates trends. And all of these on your profile are going to appear as areas of low volume. So when the profile has that big round shape, and then it's going to get very narrow, that is going to be your low volume nodes, and then these are your high volume nodes. All right, and then it's going to chop. It's going to chop. All right, and this is what the market does. Okay, and now I'm going to draw a profile just to kind of wrap all of these ideas together. And so now I'm going to draw our profile. So this is what our volume profile would look like. Okay, so this is going to be an area of low volume. So here it's going to pick up in volume. All right, then it's going to come up. It's going to pick up in volume. It's going to taper off in volume, and then it's going to pick up in volume. So that is what your profile is likely going to look like, your volume profile. And this is what a trending market looks like. All right. And so the question is how do you know when the trend is weakening or they've found sellers? Well, what you're going to see on the profile is you're going to have price, find this area of liquidity. That's your area of liquidity. And then we'll look at price over here. So we're going to be trading in this corresponding area of liquidity, and then we're likely going to come back and we're going to tap this previous area of liquidity, and what's likely going to happen is we're at the very peak of this this liquidity area is going to be something called the point of control, and the point of control is the point or price where the most contracts were traded, and that just means that there was a lot of trade activity at that price. So what you can kind of deduct from that is that there are going to be a lot of limit orders from larger traders waiting to just be filled at that point of control because it's such a popular price. All right, and also going back to what I said about fair value, when the market is trending like this and we start to establish fair value up here instead of down here where we once were finding fair value, when price comes down here and we tap that high volume area, and I'm going to put a little yellow line for the point of control, when we come down and tap that point of control, all of these traders that didn't get long on this initial move up here, what you're gonna have is when price comes back down to this fair value, this yellow line, fair value, they're going to hop on board because it's offering that previous fair price. So what was once fair is now valued at cheap because we're finding fair value higher. And so a lot of times what you'll see is a bounce off of that point of control. Like I said, you're going to have people jumping on board the trend. You're going to have people that were initially long in this area going to be adding to their positions here. And then what you're likely going to see is that trend continuation. And then potentially what's going to continue the trend is we're going to draw this point of control over. What's going to happen, we're going to see a retracement back into that point of control and then continue the move higher. All right, that is it at its most simple core. I hope I explained that solidly, but that's what happens a lot of times. You'll see price balance out. They'll retest the previous distribution, the previous area of fair value. They'll test that point of control, and then they'll rally it again, and then they'll pull back into the current point of control, and then continue the rally. All right? So that is what a healthy trending market looks like. Now, what does it look like when sellers start to become more active? So what's going to happen on the sell side is this. So on the sell side, you're going to see, we're trading up here currently. Right, we're looking at this. All right, so this is our current distribution. We're going to come down. We're going to test. We're going to test this point of control, and we may see something like this, but then we're going to dump it, and what's going to happen a lot of times is you're going to see a retest of this point of control, and then we're going to go through the unpopular prices, that's these low volume areas, because not a lot of contracts, not a lot of people are trading in these areas, so price tends to flow through these low valley areas of the profile very fast. So we're going to come tap that POC from the bottom end, and then we're going to start reversing the move. All right, and then there's the POC here. We're probably gonna maybe chop it, maybe even see a pullback into this previous POC, and then they'll short it again, and then they'll pull back through, and they'll just continue the downtrend. And that's how you see market reversals a lot of times, is once they give up that previous area of fair value, they're gonna start, the sellers are starting to cover some ground. So all of these previous longs that were open here now are covering their positions, liquidating their positions, and then new shorts are starting to enter and stop out some longs. So hope that makes sense. We're gonna jump over to an actual chart, and I'm gonna show you a few setups, some setups that I actually took, and we actually had one that was a great setup. But just looking at the candles, okay? Just looking at the candles, and by the way, this is a profile. I drew it from the beginning of the session at 8:30 Central Time. That's what time the market opens for me. And I drew it to where we are now. This was back when I was trading this, so the profile is only drawn to here, but typically I would extend it. But since we're looking at, you know, what I was thinking on the hard right edge, we're gonna keep it right there. But all right, so as you can see, we have a very, very high volume node that was generated from this price action right here, okay? And that's gonna leave this very large high volume node behind in the market. And so not even paying attention to the stuff off to the right. All right, so we have that trend down area of low liquidity. All right, then we find buyers, find buyers, find buyers, higher lows, higher highs, and we come up into this point of control. And a lot of times I'm always looking at outstanding areas. I know this is very overwhelming, these peaks, all of these peaks, because there's so many peaks. You don't have to pay attention to all of them. I'm really just looking at this huge volume node. What price is going to do is come back up to that area of high volume, because also what you see is these areas of high volume, these point of controls, they also act as magnets. And a lot of times what you see is price will rotate to one area of high volume down to the next area of high volume. And that's just what happens a lot. And so how I'm looking to trade this high volume node, and we'll come down to a smaller time frame, I'm just simply looking to get short at this POC, and maybe, you know, probably do a stop where the curve starts to taper off a bit. So this stop at 683, this is NQ, by the way, NASDAQ futures. Probably do a stop somewhere around here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to then scale off at some high volume nodes as the trade goes in our favor. So what we can do is, and we're going to zoom in a little bit, we can scale one off here at 600, which is also a psych price. We can scale one off at the 600, and then we can scale one off. Here's another high volume node, scale one off there, and then where's another area of high volume? Here. We can scale one off here. So we're going to draw some boxes. We're going to look at this as one giant volume node. There's one here. That would be our first scale. And we can also look at that too. That could have been a scale. You know, you can just kind of feel it out. But and then this would have been our second scale. So we would have been short here. I'll draw a circle for it. So this would be our short entry, and we're gonna put a stop just above where this profile starts to bulge out in this valley here, and we're gonna scale off at these high volume nodes as we go. And as you can see, price came down into this high volume node and was bought up because people here in this area previously where there was a ton of volume, they're sitting on the limit, and they were limiting in at this 450 price. This 450 price, and then that was enough to then send the market in the other direction. And you can also see now, currently, and the time is 2 o'clock, 2:06. You can also see on my desktop it is 2:06. We came into it again and rejected it again. Alright, so we're switching over to a 30-minute. That was a 5-minute. We're going to come over to a 30-minute because this is a higher time frame. And each one of these candles is 30 minutes. This is, we're going to take this off. I'm going to draw a box because I know this is probably slightly overwhelming. We're going to draw a box for this, and I'm going to delete the rest of these boxes so it isn't too overwhelming. Alright, But on this 30-minute candle, you can see that we came up and we rejected it. We came all the way down to here, this previous high volume node, and I will draw a box for this one because this one is pretty outstanding. But yeah, we came up, we rejected it, and we came all the way down to the next area of relatively high volume. This is a pretty high volume peak here. And then we came back up to it, and as you can see, we're putting in a POC again here on this footprint, on this profile. And we're gonna keep entering in short at this 645 and, you know, putting our stop here, because from a risk reward perspective, it makes sense to short this because the upside is quite good. It's a good risk reward trade. And we've also got a lot of volume being transacted here, which tells me that there are potentially a lot of sellers here on the limit that are just limiting in and just selling them, just selling into all of these bids that are entering up here at the 642. All right, so you know, we get the move lower. This is basically a copy and paste of the last trade. This is a trade that I took last night. We had an area where we kind of got choppy here. This is a 30-minute. So last night I drew a volume profile from where it started to get choppy, which is in this area, and I wanted to know where the most volume was being transacted, and that was here at the 142. See the point of control at the 142? So when we had to move away from this distribution and where sellers won, when we pulled back into it at this POC, I shorted it, and then I put my stop at, what is this, 200? 200. I didn't get to hold this trade. This was actually the high of like the entire, from last night, the ETH and the RTH session regular trading hours. This was the high, but I took it off somewhere around here for about 100 points, and then I hit my max daily target where it doesn't let me trade anymore. But regardless, it still stands the same. So with a little bit of context, we lost this, and I'm sure if we draw another profile, we will see here that there's our point of control. We did not get the test on the 30-minute, the retest of this 301. But what's important is, just like our drawing where we had the buyers in the area where we found fair value, it's exactly what we're seeing here. I noticed there was a potential for a reversal because we didn't have the retest of this point of control and the move back up. For a healthy trend, you want to see, instead of losing it here, instead of losing this point of control, you want to see the defense of that point of control and the move higher. But as you can see on our profile, our chart here, we lost this distribution, this area of balance, and then we went into price discovery. We found a new area of balance, and we lost it again. So going back to our drawing, it's like here, we're here at this point. We lost this area of balance. We trended lower. We broke that area of liquidity, lost it, retested it, and then continued against the trend and reversed. So as soon as we lose that second area of liquidity, this point of control, and we test it from the back side and sellers defend it, that is a beautiful, beautiful trade opportunity to the short side, and you will catch the reversal of that trend, because as you can see, we were just trending up. I believe Trump put a 90-day halt on tariffs, and that's what kind of sent us in this up trajectory here. But yeah, we lost this area of balance, found a new area of balance, lost it, and then came back up into that POC and then rejected, and then that was the high. And if we're kind of looking at this point of control, because I also drew this one last night because I was looking at this as a potential target. Because this, if I was trading on a very large time frame, I don't have the capital to be doing that. But this 100% would have been the TP. That's where we're going next. All right, is this area. All right, but nonetheless, let's see what happens. We lose this point of control. We lose this point of control. We rally lower, and then we come back up, and then we're retesting this area. This is going to be a little bit confusing because I haven't talked about this, but this is the value area high of this area of balance. We're not going to get into that, but it's also another support resistance level. But yeah, and that's kind of how you're going to trade it. And let's just real quick draw this point of control out, and let's see. So once we lost it here on this 30-minute candle, we came back up. We blew out here. This is a very high time frame, so it's going to be very convoluted. But we get that retest when it finally does go. We get that retest of that point of control on this candle here, and then finally we run, and we also get the test here. So if you missed it here, we in short 871 again, and we get that dump in the RTH session. But that is it, guys. If you guys are curious about what trading platform I use, it's called Quantower. It's, in my opinion, the most user-friendly and beginner-friendly, and just all around a well-rounded platform. If you guys are interested in doing what I'm doing with volume profiles, and it's very easy to set up, use the code in my description. Code Sean, you'll get yourself 15% off of the monthly payments, and it helps me out a lot. And also, when you guys get a trading journal, and I know all of you guys need to be tagging your trades, I have a link in the description for the best trading journal in the market, I believe. I'm obviously biased. But you'll get yourself 5% off of the monthly as well, or a lifetime, whatever you choose to do. Again, code Sean in the description. But anyways, guys, I hope this was an intuitive beginner guide for you guys. I know it's very confusing, but it is simple. It's very, very simple. It's just you track where that high volume is, guys. And once we lose that area of high volume, whether it be we go up, like just a real quick, if price, here, real quick, as an example. Like right now, what I'm thinking about the market, just as a quick example, all right, is if like we've got an area of high volume here, okay? If for whatever reason we support it, if we take out this point of control that we were just talking about, if we take it out, I'm going to be looking to get long off the retest of this point of control. And then what's likely going to happen is we're going to come up to the next area of high volume. I don't know where it is on the chart, but that's how I'm viewing the market currently as we're trading. But anyways, that's how you view it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, description, like, subscribe, do all the stuffs. Once again, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys.